Hello, Play for Performance listeners. I'm so glad you've joined us today. Our guest is Sheu, founder of Empowered Journey. Anne is a coach and certified EOS implementer with the degrees in business, dispute resolution, and a law from Southern Methodist University. After her legal career, she launched Empowered Journey to help entrepreneurial families align their values, vision, and daily rhythms for sustained success and fulfillment. As a mother of four, she applies practical strategies informed by her own experience balancing career and family. Her greatest achievement came from transforming her family business using the entrepreneurial operating system, a process that inspired her mission. Since then, Anne has guided thousands of families and leaders through coaching, workshops, and speaking engagements. Today, she'll share how to design content that speaks to both leaders and their families, foster community, craft messaging that derives impact, and build a brand rooted in values. Please help me welcome Sheu.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're here.
So excited to be here.
Yes, we met months ago at a local profile business women's luncheon, and seeing you speak on stage and seeing the picture of you with a very small infant, your youngest, right? I was just fascinated with what you're doing in the community. So tell us, what transpired to transition from legal to founding Empowered Journey?
Oh, it was a really long journey, to be honest. It wasn't just, I left law and then I started this business. It, there was a lot of things that kind of came into play, but I would say the two big wake-up calls that I had in my life were the passing of my dad and then my in-laws separating. And
Oh,
those two things happened pretty close in time with each other, and they were just devastating, but incredible wake-up calls to the life that me and my husband were living. This life of autopilot and just
yeah.
checking the boxes and doing what we were told and what we thought, society expected us to do and what our families expected us to do. And so it really gave us a great opportunity to kind of step back and reflect on, what are we doing? What is this life that we're building? Is it the life that we want to be building? Is this the life that we want to be living? And so it kind of spurred all of these other things that we started doing in our life.
Wow, that just one of those alone, it would rock anybody's world, but to go through both of those at the same time. And one of the things I liked so much about you is that in the, and I apologize, I'm not sure if it's the Empowered Journey piece or the entrepreneurial operating system, but you encourage parents and families to play together and to have fun together. And where did that come from? How did that get started in you? And what does that look like?
Well, it's really fascinating because we work with families and we help them craft what we call your decade dream, right? What does success look like in 10 years? And for a lot of families, their decade dream has some version, some piece of play or adventure or fun or experiences, right? Like we have a lot of clients that are counting how many new experiences they're trying to achieve over a decade, like 1,000 new experiences together, or 100 new cities visited together, or certain number of hours of going on walks together, right? Like whatever their version of play and fun is. And I think that really stems back to this idea that for many of us, what we're really looking for is freedom, time
Mm.
freedom, purpose freedom, right? The freedom to do what we love with our most important people and do the things that make us happy. And so I think when people really sit down and think about what is their definition of success, not the definition of success that they've been given by social media or their neighbors or their family, their parents, but really their own definition of success, oftentimes it's rooted in some sort of desire to have time freedom, purpose freedom, and that often is very easily defined through the lens of play.
Yeah, yeah. So there's never a box that says play. That's not one of the boxes to check. One of the boxes to check is never overwork yourself to exhaustion, right? Like that's
Yeah.
weird. What's crazy? But yet we still do it.
Yeah.
And that's so much to be said there with inviting play and when we really sit down and look at what are our values and why do we, what do we want to accomplish and what does our life look like in 5, 10 years, right? That's going to be very different for you with the young kiddos. They're going to be late high school, college area. That's huge. And to be touching these families at those young ages, I think is so important and so phenomenal that we never did that when I was a kid. That's for sure. It was we go to school, get good grades, and go to college. Right? Okay, great. And robotness, we get to the point where we're just like, and for me, particularly selfishly, I didn't want to climb this corporate ladder. Like, I don't want to be a VP of people. Like, no, I want to work with individuals and make them better and allow them to have fun and that freedom and what that looks like. So how has balancing life as a mother shaped your values driven coaching approach? How does that change anything for you? Or
Oh gosh, I feel like my kids bring out the best and worst of me, right? Um, I'm when I'm at my best with them, I am calm and patient and present. And when I'm at my worst, I am short and impatient and yelling. And so I really have, and it's always about me. It's not really about them, right? Even if they're doing something that is triggering me, it's still about me. And so just understanding that it's always about me,
yeah,
like what I'm dealing with and what I haven't dealt with, and how
yeah,
I'm carrying that into my relationships. Um, that
that's hard. I
that
mean,
I feel like that the gift of my children is constantly teaching me, showing me areas of where I still have work that I need to do.
and what a great gift to give them of being aware that that's where it is. And I mean, I wish I could go back years ago and change some of my reactions, right? And I can't. I'm trying to make up for it now and apologizing, owning who I am, and I'm doing the best I can with each one of you. No one gave me a manual. So what is your leadership style at Empowered Journey? How do you coach and teach the people that you work closest with?
I mean, here, this is a little bit about me. I am a flaming visionary. I've got 1,000 ideas. I can unguarded, I could create a ton of mess and a lot of chaos, and everything's always on fire. And so what I have found is I really need to surround myself with people who don't need to be micromanaged, that don't need to, we like to say batteries included, right? That they are self-starters, that they are able to take the ball and run with it, and are resourceful. And I think one of the gifts that this work at Empowered Journey has given me is the clarity of my values and continuing to really refine my values. It's something that we believe is foundational to all of the work that we're doing with our clients. But even recently, understanding that our values are directly connected to our triggers, right? When
Mm,
something really bothers you, there's probably something that you really care about that's being triggered, that's being challenged. And we realized recently in a leadership team meeting that I have a value of resourcefulness. Like, I really value the scrappy, the like stretch the dollar, not just resourcefulness with money, but also resourcefulness with time and your
mhm.
energy. Like, are you really being able to maximize the resources that you have? And it's really triggering for me when that's not the case, right? When team members aren't being resourceful. And so, um, the way that it's really shaped me as a leader is it's given me clarity on like what's triggering me, what I should be looking for in team members, and then really being able to advocate for the things that are important to me. Whereas before, I didn't really have the language. And so something would bother me, and then I would just let it fester. And then all of a sudden, it would just like explode. And the team member's like, whoa, what happened? Like this little thing, why are you so upset about it? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it's because I wasn't able to confidently communicate to you why thing was bothering me. So just
Yeah.
having the language to be able to articulate what matters to me and why, and then what happens when that's being challenged, like that trigger
Yeah.
is, I think, helped me be a better leader.
And that emotional awareness that you're teaching them is huge too, because they probably have other triggers that are different from yours. And to communicate those and to talk about those and to figure out how to work around and with those. I get it totally. So when you face a roadblock,
Let me just say, like,
please,
knowing that I need to surround myself with high detailed executors that really have a high standard of excellence. I feel like I am also like that, but my natural style, my natural tendency to be a flaming visionary that's moving a million miles an hour, a lot of my natural tendencies, my natural state can be triggering to my team members who are like methodical and high attention to detail and really want to execute well, where I'm like, come on, let's do this and then this and this, right? And so having that understanding of like what's working, what's not working, why are we triggering each other? How do we understand each other's triggers so that we can lean into those as strengths and not let it cause friction and really erode our team health?
Yeah, that's huge. I read a book years ago, and again, I'm going to age myself. Growing up, it was always, what's wrong with you? You're not studying hard enough. You're not applying yourself. What's wrong with you? And this huge study was done, and I don't remember I've got his book behind me, but it's not what's wrong with you. It's what happened to you. And in that past and in our journeys, we are all each individual walking, living pasts of what we've been through in our lives. And I have no idea what you've been through, Anne, and you have no idea what your team member, individual A, has been through. And to try to humble ourselves to understand that nothing's wrong with any of us. We're just all very different humans that have a different track record and a different story behind us that brought us to where we are today. And to stop and just want to learn more about people and to understand them better, I think speaks volumes for you and your leadership style. That's awesome.
It's not perfect, trust me. I mean, but like yeah, it's definitely not perfect. And my team, I feel like I'm constantly asking the team for feedback on a lot of things, but you could ask them and I'm sure they have a ton of areas of opportunity for me to improve as a leader, as a manager. Yeah.
Don't ask my kids, because they'll give you the laundry list for sure, right? Like, well, there's this and this. I don't want to know. So it sounds like you've created an environment where feedback really flows freely from you to them and back. How was that difficult to do? Or
I mean, I try to just make feedback no big deal, right? Like it's just part of our daily operations. We, after every single workshop that we lead, after every speaking engagement that I do, we always do a debrief meeting, and it's open and honest. What worked, what didn't work, give me all the good, all the bad. I'm going to give you all the good, all the bad, and we're going to just talk about it. Like it's just part of what we do. And and I think having, for somebody new to the team, it might be a little jolting. I don't know if that's the right word. Jarring. It's probably a little jarring. Because we are so blunt with each other. But after a while, you almost become desensitized to like the negativity that feedback often gets this like bad rap for like, but I feel like it's kind of diminished on our team because we do it so often. So it's like part of how we operate. Like if I tested an intro and it fell flat, like you better tell me, right? Like if I expected things to be done a certain way and they weren't, if I needed the thing recorded and and the camera wasn't working, like we're going to give each other that feedback, and it's just part of who we are. But I think it also, is part of our culture because everybody on the team has a deep commitment and a shared value around better everyday growth, progress, improvement. And so we all understand that feedback is part of the greater good, right? Making sure that we are able to deliver the highest caliber most impactful experience for our clients.
Yeah, and it normalizes that feedback. It says it's okay to agree or disagree with something. Let's talk about it and what your points are. Maybe I've never even considered before. I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how do you incorporate moments of play into your daily operations?
Oh gosh. I mean, are you asking as a business owner or as a mom?
Oh gosh, let's go business owner first, and then if we have time, we'll talk about mom.
Yeah. So I I mean, this is definitely something I struggle with because I feel like when I'm at work, I'm focused and I'm like, we've got so much to do, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for structure where there is a little bit of play built into it. And one of my favorite examples is whenever we start our weekly meetings, we start, they're called in EOS, they're called level 10 meetings, right? So when you start a level 10 meeting, this is just simply your weekly team check-in meeting. We
Mhm.
start with your business best and your personal best. And
Oh,
so it just gives everybody a quick opportunity to learn about what was the highlight from your week
yeah,
on the business side and then on the personal side, and it's a great way to strengthen team health, but
yeah.
also just to get in the right mindset of, like, we're about to spend this next hour, hour and a half really focused working on the
Mhm.
business. Let's make sure that we're coming in with the right mindset, that we're not bringing in all of this, stuff
Tough.
that we're probably carrying on our shoulders,
Yeah.
and, just making sure that we're starting the meeting on the right foot.
That's great. So, how do you, in your workshops, how do you balance the structured learning from that playful engagement? Because I'm betting if you're working with families with younger kids, sometimes all that kind of, how does that happen for you guys?
Yeah, so in most of our workshops, we are working with the couples, and so we will do workshops every once in a while with kids, like clients' kids, but for the most part, we're really working with the leaders of the family,
Okay.
and in those workshops, I find me as the facilitator, like, my energy is absolutely contagious. So whatever energy I'm bringing into the room is the energy and the experience that my clients are gonna have in the workshop. And so I would say I'm not naturally a playful, funny, light person. Like, those are not really words that people would naturally use to describe me.
Yeah.
And so I just like with our weekly meeting, I have to kind of build it into the process. And
Okay.
so I intentionally built a playlist for breaks that is fun, playful music, right?
Yeah.
I intentionally built in a break in the afternoon. After lunch, I know there's going to be a post lunch lull. So we built in a break where we take the clients on a walk around the building. And then when they come back, they get popsicles or ice cream bars. Like, we're
Yes.
trying to create little fun moments
Yeah.
that kind of help break up the energy, but also help bring people back into that, playful mindset,
Yeah.
because we know that you can really do your best work when you're working from that place and
Yeah.
not from a place of fear or worry or concern.
And hearing that, and again, I told you I'm a mom, you're also giving them ideas of ways to engage with their kids that maybe they haven't done before. Like, when else do parents just randomly say, "Hey, let's get a popsicle?" Like, kids would be like, "What is happening to my parents?" But those types of things are fun for the parents to do with their kids too,
Yeah.
right?
Although I will say that for a while, I was, battling my younger kids to go take a bath every night because
Yeah.
we were trying to make them do bath time earlier than normal. We were trying to move bath time to before dinner time,
Yeah.
and so it was a change in the routine. So they were confused. It was a battle, and so I just started doing popsicles with bath time. So if you wanna go if you go take a bath, I'll bring a popsicle in, and you can have a popsicle while you're taking
Love
your
it.
shower or sitting in the
Hey,
bathtub.
I love it because I bet you they were like, "Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this," right?
I'm not often about bribing my kids,
Uh,
but
it
that
it's not a bribe if you tell them beforehand, it's a reward. That's
yeah,
what it's only a bribe if in the middle of the battle, you're like, "Okay, I'll give you a popsicle."
that's true, that's true.
So, reward. I'm all about phrasing things. You gotta put
Yeah,
it the right way to just, parenting's hard stuff, I tell you.
yeah,
It's really hard.
yep.
So let's see. What advice would you give leaders seeking to make their work more engaging?
Oh gosh. I think the biggest piece of advice is just operating from a place of curiosity, right? Whether you're leading a workshop or speaking on a stage or leading a meeting, a staff meeting, a team meeting, um, I think oftentimes we feel the pressure to be the person with all the answers. I mean, this even applies to parenting, right? There's
Yeah.
this pressure to be the person that knows and has the answers and that can be the fixer and solve the problem. And instead, can we operate from a place of curiosity, right? Like, why is this coming up? Why are we talking about this? What happened? Really asking questions. Um, and even in our EOS process, one of the things that we teach our clients is um, when we're solving issues, instead of jumping right to problem solving, we just ask a bunch of questions to try to get to the root of the issue. Why is this even happening in the first place? And what that really does, it's hard for a lot of leaders in the beginning because what I see is that people who've become leaders got to where they are because they're really great at solving problems, right? They fixed the thing and they got a promotion. They whatever they did, but they solved problems and that's kind of how they moved up. And
Mhm.
so we've been trained that, like, if you wanna be successful, you jump in and you solve the problem right away. And, I think that works at a certain point. When you're an individual contributor, it's probably a great skill set to have, but once you move into that leader role, you have to slow it down because that problem
Mhm.
solving often leads to solving the wrong problem,
Mm.
not solving the problem in the best way because you're not giving the team space to actually solve the right problem. And so really
Mhm.
slowing that process down and asking questions
Yeah.
so that you're solving at the root and not solving symptomatically. Like what we tell our clients is if you're solving the same problem over and over and over again, but like different fact pattern, but same root issue, you probably solved it symptomatically the first time, the second time, the third
Mhm.
time. Like the only reason it's coming up is because you didn't actually solve the problem. You
Yeah.
solved up here, but not below
In
the
the
surface.
roots. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So, when was the last time you played with Legos? Has it been a little while or recent?
Well, do you count sorting the Lego pieces for my son, like finding the piece for him so that he can build the Legos? Because that that I'm really good at. I
Yeah, so that actually triggers my next question. So, he likes to build by the book instructions, or does he like to free build and build his own?
He does,
Okay.
but what we have found is after he does the by the book instructions,
Uh-huh.
then inevitably, because he's the oldest,
Mhm.
somebody in the house is unintentionally destroying his masterpiece,
Yeah.
and so then we've got buckets and buckets and buckets of Lego pieces that have
Yeah.
then become mixed together,
Ah.
and then that's when the creativity comes out, when after he's kind of made it through the book and done what he
Mhm.
needed to do to
Yep.
kind of feel like he needed to check that box, right? Then
Yeah.
he can have the freedom to just build whatever he wants to build.
So, hearing our conversation, I would like to challenge you the next time he's in that big box of random Lego bricks, sit down with him and build and ask him, what should we build today? Or what are you building? Because I want to try to build something like yours, but different, like in my way, kind of, and open up that conversation with him about what he's building and what do these individual pieces mean to him and what does that look like? Why did just those open-ended questions? You'd be amazed at some of the kids' responses. I wish that I had done that with mine, and now they're too old to, but still, there's times that we break out the Legos and we build, how are you feeling? Or what do you think about today? And you'd be amazed at some of the things that they think of building that you're like, that's
Ah,
really awesome. Like, I love that. I wish, I mine means this because of this, but to have that on level playtime with him is so awesome and I try to encourage all parents to do that. So,
I love that. I'm gonna definitely
yeah,
try that.
absolutely. And your husband, you've mentioned him on social media. His name is Sunny. He could do the same thing if he ever wanted to. And you can get different responses, but maybe that can be like an oldest son date night with mom and dad. Y'all just sit and build stuff with your Legos, maybe. It's fun.
That's a
Yeah,
great idea. Yeah. Thank you
you'll
for
like it.
sharing.
Absolutely. No, you'll love it. So one of the things that I always ask my guests is you have a large tool bag, if you will, of all the things that you've learned in your career, things that you've implemented, things that you teach others to do. If there's one thing out of that bag that you would bring out to share with our guests today, what would that one thing be?
I think the importance of being able to clearly and confidently articulate the answers to two questions. Who
Okay.
are you and what do you want?
Okay.
They're really, really simple questions, but most people haven't done the work, taken the time to really find out the answers to those questions. But when you really know who you are, what's really important to you, right? Your values,
Yeah.
and then what you want, what's your vision? When you have the answers to those two questions, then you can really use the answers to those two questions to filter out all of the noise, all of the
Mhm.
distractions, and really live life on purpose, live life intentionally, because you'll be able to see where there is misalignment with things that are not aligned with your values and not
Mhm.
aligned with your greater vision.
Yeah, that's really
So
great. Thank
those,
you.
yeah.
And I'm going to think about those when we get off our call today. So, how can our guests find you? Anne and I are connected on LinkedIn, so you can find her there. How else should we steer people to find you, Anne?
Sure. Empoweredjourney.com, MPOWERED journey.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Instagram.
Awesome.
I'm personally responding to messages. So if you want to chat, I love talking about all of this stuff. This is my purpose work. So would love to start a conversation with
Yeah.
anybody that wants to reach out.
And you've done work with Toyota, some other large companies in the area. So it's not just families that you work with, but there's teams as well. And she does speaking engagements. So reach out to Anne. I know that she would love to hear from you. And Anne, is there anything else that you'd like to add today as we depart from our guests?
No, just thank you so much for having me on. I
Yeah.
think the work that you're doing is so important, and
Thanks.
um, great job. I love
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for joining us today. And we'll catch you next time on Play for Performance. That's a wrap on another episode of Play for Performance. I hope today's conversation sparked some ideas for how you can bring more joy and engagement into your workplace. Remember, transforming workplace culture doesn't happen overnight, but every small step toward play and connection makes a difference. Try one thing we discussed today, even something small, and see what happens. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who could use a little more play in their professional life. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations with incredible guests who are changing the game of workplace engagement. Have a guest suggestion or want to share your own play at work story? Reach out to me at Jolynn at elevateyourtalent.co or find me on LinkedIn. I love hearing from you. Until next week, keep playing, keep performing, and remember, work doesn't have to be taken seriously to be serious. This has been Play for Performance. I'm Jolynn Ledgerwood, and I'll see you next time.